Okay, so good morning, ABM students. We are now down to the last topic of our lesson on the first semester. So congratulations in advance for passing the subject. So we are now on the last topic, which is the books of accounts. So we already done with the major, the five major type of accounts, what is financial statements. Now, part of the accounting process is you are going to record your transactions in the book of accounts. So this is what we are going to tackle this morning, the book of accounts. So this will be the last topic for the semester. So I hope that you will going to learn something with this one. Okay. So I am going to minimize the video so that the entire screen will be, you will be able to see the entire screen. Okay. So book of accounts. You already know about the business which called Pure Gold, diba? We are very familiar with the Pure Gold store. So there is some short um, story or some short introduction about Pure Gold. So entitled "Sa Pure Gold Always Panalo." Okay, so Pure Gold Price Club. It is the name of Pure Gold. So Pure Gold Price Club Class Incorporated, or simply known as Pure Gold, it is a chain of supermarkets established in 1998. So it is the leading retailer in the hypermarket format in the Philippines. So currently, it has 225 stores with over 1,500 suppliers and trade partners and over 230,000 sari-sari stores and small businesses served. So that is according to the data of puregold.com 2015. So the mission of Pure Gold is to provide products, services, and business opportunities to every Filipino family. Pure Gold strives to deliver only the best and most affordable goods to its customers. So with over 1,000 transactions each day. So can you imagine how Pure Gold compile, how they summarize, how are they going to translate this transaction to create financial statements? Diba? Daghan kayo. According to the statement, Pure Gold currently has 225 stores with over 1,500 suppliers. And also they have also 230,000 sari-sari stores and small businesses that they have served. So how are they going to summarize, to compile, and to translate all those transactions to create final financial statements? Di ba, libog kayo siya tungod sa kadaghan. That's why, like all companies, Pure Gold Class uses an accounting information system to collect and process data and to communicate it to users of financial statements. So it maintains book of accounts where all its financial information are recorded and kept. So this is the topic where we are going to tackle about the books of accounts. What are the book of accounts that a company must have in order to create financial statements? Because there are like Pure Gold, they have more than 230,000 sari-sari stores and small businesses that they have served. So book of accounts, they should really maintain book of accounts. So this is where we are going to study this morning. And at the end of this discussion class, you will be able to identify the uses of the two books of accounts, the journals and ledgers. Second is you will be able to illustrate the format of a general and journal and special journals. And also, you will be able to illustrate the format of general and subsidiary ledgers. Okay, so let's proceed to next. So there are two types of book of accounts. So there are two types of book of accounts class. We have the journal and the ledger. So in a single day, a company they engage into hundreds and thousands and thousands of business transactions. So some of these include cash and credit sales. Of course, if you are in the business, dili gyud siya all the time that you will be able to receive cash, you will be able to generate cash. There are also credit sales. There are also purchase of inventories. There are also payment of expenses, acquisition of equipment, when you buy the equipment, and many, many more. So a company should be able to collect and process this financial information in order to summarize at the year end and to be able to prepare its annual financial statements for its internal and external users. Why? Because what is the main purpose of the financial statements, by the way? It is to communicate to the internal and external users. So to keep track of its transactions more efficiently, companies keep and maintain a set of book and or records called book of accounts. So when we say book of accounts class are the finance records, the ledgers, the journal that composed the company's account. So this serves as the company's financial memory. So if sa computer pa, this is the CPU, but in accounting, the financial memory and comprised of every single business transactions and financial information of a company is called the book of accounts. So aside from decision making and analysis, analyzing the business performance, book of accounts also class are crucial. It is crucial in way that you are going to ensure regulatory compliance, as they also serve as proof of the business transactions reflected in the financial statement. So book of accounts, this serves the proof that these business transactions that are being reflected in the financial statements really do exist. Why? Because book of accounts, as I've said a while ago, that it comprised of every business transactions, every single business transactions every day. So it serves as the company's financial memory. So there are two types of book of accounts. First is the journal, and second is the ledger. So when we say journal class, journal, it is a chronological record of all company's transactions listed by date. So it is often referred to us as the book of original entry. So the recording of financial information into the journal is known as the process of journalizing. So not every business transactions that are recorded is kanang isulat lang nimo siya sa isa ka notebook nga imong gihimo nga kani siya is general journal diri na ko isulat. But what is journal? It is chronological record of all company's transactions listed by date. That's why book of accounts, they serve as the proof. Why? Because it is listed by date. It's just serve as the proof that the financial statements, the transactions that are being reflected in the financial statements does exist because of the general journal and the general ledger. That's why in general journal and in general ledger, you are going to record all the company's transactions listed by date chronologically. What do you mean by chronologically? It is systematized. It is arranged, and as an ordinary person, if an ordinary person that is not really engaged into business, normal lang yun siya nga tao, that we're going to read the general journal and the general ledger, will be able to understand what is written there. Why? Because it is recorded chronologically. Next, we have ledgers. So ledgers, it is the process of posting. So when we say journal, it is the record of single business transactions. Every business transactions that happened every day is being recorded in the book of accounts, which is the general journal. So when we say ledger, it is a process of posting. When we say posting, it involves transferring of journal entries to the ledger accounts to bring together the effect of the transactions to the individual accounts of the company. So the ledger class is the grouping of all accounts of a company showing its respective outstanding balances. So it is also called the book of final entry of accounting transactions. So when we say general journal, it is referred to us as the book of original entry. Okay, it is the book of original entry. You cannot go into posting, or you cannot post the transactions on the ledger if you don't have the book, the general journal. So when we say general journal, again, it is referred to us as the book of original entry. While ledgers, it is also called as the book of final entry. Why? Because from the general journal, you are going to transfer the journal entries to the ledger accounts. Okay, so we also have subsidiary ledgers. So what do you mean by subsidiary ledgers? Subsidiary ledgers class is a group of accounts with a similar characteristics. For example, accounts receivable and accounts payable. So, diba, when we say ledgers, we already know that when we say ledger, it is the grouping of all accounts. So by group ang ledgers. So when we say subsidiary ledgers, it is still group of accounts receivable, group of accounts payable, and also another group of cash, yung mga ing-anak siya. So it is an additional record to the general ledger utilized by the company to track the per individual accounts of the company's customers, creditors, and the like. So in subsidiary ledgers, there are two common types of subsidiary ledgers. We have accounts receivable ledger, and second is the accounts payable ledger. We also have, what do you mean by accounts receivable ledger? Accounts receivable ledger class. This is used mainly to track the individual account balances of the company's customers. So when we say accounts receivable, the company is na assign receivable from the customer. So bali, the customer nangutang kang company. So that's why you are going to record it as accounts receivable. Then we have accounts payable ledger. So the accounts payable ledger class, it displays the outstanding balances of each of the creditors of the company. So when we say accounts payable, it is the opposite of accounts receivable. When accounts receivable, si customer nangutang kang company, so si company yang isulat accounts receivable from customers. But if si company ang nangutang kang supplier, how are you going to record that one? You are going to put that one in accounts payable. Okay, so that's why it displays the outstanding balances of each of the creditors of the company. Then we also have special journals. So again, we have two types. We have two types of book of accounts. We have the general journal and we have the general ledger. When we say general ledger, when we say general journal, it is referred to as the book of the original entry. So after recording all the business transactions in the general journal, you are going to post it on the general ledger. So that is the ledger. We are going to transfer the journal entries to the ledger. So that is the two kinds of book of accounts, the general journal and the general ledger. And when we say general ledger, we also have subsidiary ledger. So there are two common types of subsidiary ledger. What are those? They are the accounts receivable ledger and we have the accounts payable ledger. So that is under general ledger. So general ledger under the general ledger is the subsidiary ledger. And they are the accounts receivable and accounts payable ledgers. So when we say journals, see, general journals is referred to us as what? The book of original, the accounts of the original entry. So when we are going to say special journals are used to record typical and similar types of transactions. Okay, so, oh, we're done. Okay. So this is the last, this special journal. So again, when we say book of accounts, there are two types of book of accounts. We have the general ledger and the general journals. When we say general journals, these are the book of account that we are going to record all the business transactions every day. And also it is referred to as the accounts of the general entry. So after recording all the business transactions in the general journal, we are going to post it. Okay, we are going to post it in the ledger. So that is what we call the general ledger. So when we say general ledger, it is also called the final entry, the book of final entry of accounting transactions. So when we say general ledger, we also have the subsidiary ledger. Again, what are the two subsidiary ledger? We have the accounts receivable and the accounts payable ledgers. So when we say accounts receivable, these are the accounts of the customers that are that have payables to the company. But when we say accounts payable, these are the accounts of the creditors that the company is liable. Okay, so they are going to pay, the company is going to pay to the creditors for the borrowed amount. And also we have special journals. So when we say special journals, these are used to record typical and similar types of transaction. So I guess that's it. That is the end of our, this is just part one, because I am going to send a module regarding what are the form of the general journal, the subsidiary ledger, the special journal, and the general ledger. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.